Since Antonio Brown's infamous exit at MetLife Stadium and basically retiring from playing football, Brown has not been away from the spotlight. And since then, he's teamed up with Kanye West to become the president of Donda Sports.
President of Donda Sports?
Yes.
So, shout out to Ye. So what's that entail? What's your vision for Donda Sports?
Well, just finding the next future superhero, helping them fulfill his mission or goal or whatever he's trying to be.
Become a model, walking the runway at a New York Fashion Week, and even put out a hit song and dance that really just became a viral trend. Or interviews about him calling out Tom Brady, or just illegal issues, Antonio Brown continues to be in the news. But recently, he has been making news for reasons that are not only hurting Antonio Brown, but an entire community of people. Recently in March, Antonio Brown brought into the ownership group of the Albany Empire, which is an arena football league team. And Albany has real significance to Antonio Brown, as his father, Eddie Brown, played arena football there for the team at the time was called the Albany Firebirds.
Now, what a lot of people don't know is Big AB. Your dad is a arena football legend, right?
Absolutely.
And Antonio Brown's dad was a stud. We're talking about one of the best players in Arena Football League history. They called him Touchdown Eddie Brown. In 9 seasons, Eddie Brown recorded 12,736 receiving yards, 303 touchdowns. He won a league MVP, an Arena Football League championship, an Arena Bowl MVP, and he's a Hall of Famer during the 20th celebration of the Arena League. And he was actually named the best player in NFL history.
And that's why we're here at the team I just bought. I grew up right here in Albany, New York with my dad. My dad used to be a great football player, one of the AFL's greatest football player ever. Played right here in this town, Albany, for the Albany Firebirds when I was growing up.
And as you can imagine, the second Antonio Brown bought into this ownership group, things didn't really go, good at all. When speaking to reporters, Antonio Brown would tell him that he owned 100% of the team, but that was actually not true. Antonio Brown initially only bought 47.5% of the ownership group. Another 47.5% of ownership belonged to Mike Kawada, and the other 5% belonged to 2 other owners. And with Brown saying that he owned the entire team, obviously rubbed some of the other owners the wrong way. And since Antonio Brown was one of the owners, he would put his immediate stamp on the team by firing the head coach Tom Menes.
I work at the pleasure of the ownership.
Tom, what was the reason given that you are fired with a contract extension through 2025?
Going a different direction.
It's definitely going to be a new coach. We're going to go with the interim coach right now, but we're going to do whatever it takes to put our players in the best position.
And the reason why this is significant is because not only has Tom Menes led the team to back-to-back championships the previous 2 years, he was just let go days before the season opener as the defending champs of the league, which is obviously unprecedented. And the team would turn to offensive coordinator Damian Ware to be the head coach, and the team would win their first game. But after the game, Antonio Brown would release a video of him interacting with the fans when a security guard would ask him multiple times to leave the field, leading to a back and forth with Antonio Brown.
I'm going nowhere. You're going off the field right now. Do it. Going off the field right now. Let's go. Let's go. Off the field right now. Go when I want. Make me there. Make me. You get off. You get off. I'm going to stay right here. Let's go. Let's go. Just up the whole game.
And naturally, Antonio Brown would say oh, he was just hating on me, all that stuff. And social media bought into it. And I was actually one of those people. And the general manager of the arena will come out and say Antonio Brown was in the wrong. The incident was during the halftime show where the team's championship banner was set to be lowered. And for the safety of everyone on the field, they needed to be cleared. And shockingly, a couple of days later, it was reported that one of the other fellow owners, Mike Kawada, was selling his 47.5% ownership of the team to Antonio Brown for $1. Yes, You heard that correctly, $1. Kawarda would state, it's what's best for the brand, the community, the arena, the county, the fans, and the players. There's a little bit of a power struggle with me and Antonio right now. He's got a lot of interest in owning the team himself, and it's best for me to step out of the way at this time and allow that process to happen. And now, since Antonio Brown owns 95% of the team, all the responsibility would be on him. So we all know that's when things would go pretty badly. So pretty shortly after, it was reported by players that they had not been paid before the third game of the year. Complaints were made to Antonio Brown, and he didn't handle it very well. Interim head coach Damian Ware said when he spoke to Antonio Brown about players not receiving payments, he got aggressive with them, and then this happened.
Many players say tonight they were fired, including starting quarterback Sam Castronova and reigning MVP Darius Prince. They're considered two of the best players in the National Arena League. We also got word the disgruntled players were locked out of their hotel rooms in Albany when they returned from their game against Carolina. This is a photo of that list of players not allowed in their rooms, sent to us by a source with knowledge of the situation. On that list, you can see Ware, Prince, Castronova, and others were being told the police were called, who told Antonio Brown they need to be allowed back in their rooms to get their belongings.
Obviously, this would upset the team and would actually lead to a fight.
This is Albany Empire kicker Michael Hall. He's been with the team for 2 games now. He made it clear that he's standing by the Empire, but his teammates confronted him during the interview, saying Hall isn't telling the whole story regarding the Empire uproar.
On you, it looks bad. I'm saying, like, because they don't know, they weren't on the bus, and all they're gonna get is your perspective,
Bro.
and how you were speaking on somebody.
All right, here.
Hall was speaking to us after he says he was punched in the face by a teammate on Sunday on a bus ride back home. Hall says a brief conversation quickly turned into an attack.
You can have your turn. You can have your turn, bro. You don't.
I'm just saying, you're gonna take your turn, tell the truth, because that's why everybody from outside is gonna look.
Bro, I already did like 3 or 4 of these. I've already done like 3 or 4 of these today.
With all the drama and the key losses of players, fans are outraged and just deservingly so.
Stephanie Carter is disappointed in what's happening to her team.
We've been going to all the home games since 2019, and it's so much fun.
The games are a place for her 2 kids, 10 years apart in age, to connect. They've become connected to the Empire's longtime players. They even signed this football for her son when he was in the hospital. When she saw them win a championship, she says it was like being at the Super Bowl.
And it's sad because this was something that we look forward to every season, going to the games and the block parties, and now I'm not sure that we'll be going.
This is not a regular team. The Albany Empire went to back-to-back championships. It'd be like buying into the Kansas City Chiefs and just like completely burning them to the ground because, you know, you had Antonio Brown as the owner. Not a perfect analogy, but you see what I'm saying. Obviously, the fans were used to a winning culture, all that good stuff, and now it's not only gone downhill in the first 3 games, it's basically gone because of Antonio Brown. And then Antonio Brown would try to defend himself and explain the reason for the missed payments, and he said it was due to an accounting issue as the change of ownership, and the accounts need to be changed over as well, which is something I would actually say, like, okay, that makes a little sense, but it's Antonio Brown. You really can't take anything he says very literally.
Everyone's paid here. I'm running the business. The MVP arena's paid. I don't know what the minutia of the articles. I don't want to get into the he say, she say. Everyone's paid. If everyone wasn't paid, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here.
So even the guys who left?
Everybody on the court, on our payroll. You know payroll, right? You know paychecks. You know you just can't get paid when you want, right? Right? Yeah, you know they run a course, right?
And now with this interim head coach now fired, Brown reached out to the previous head coach, Tom Menda, and has agreed to come back and coach the team. And players previously suspended or terminated by Brown have not come back. So the Albany Empire have literally just done tryouts trying to get random people to fill the roster because they just can't get anyone to play because Antonio Brown is the owner. Listen, do I think that owning a franchise is easy? Absolutely not. Do you think I could do it? Probably not. I'm just the guy making the video. But I think it's a little bit easier when a player goes to a team or person and it's already winning, has a good culture, has the league MVP, good coaching. It's really hard to mess that up. But when you're Antonio Brown, really anything is possible when you get your hands on it.